Today, we're looking at Private Reserve's Tanzanite. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Private Reserve's Tanzanite is a blue ink. To make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples, I put the ink into a different pen for a day, I then put it into a Noodler's nib creeper to take my notes for this video. Now, before we get to the writing samples, let's look at the sciencey bits. Up first is a chromatography, and I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And what we see is a very light purple at the bottom that pushes its way up, and then we start getting that very vivid blue that's going to come through in the writing samples. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. And this is very interesting and one of the reasons you should do multiple chromatographies. The purple is much more there across the bottom. Not as much of it is pushing up. We see the blue, but then we see a new color show up. It's a very kind of turquoisey blue at the top on the left side of this chromatography. And I think that's one of the things that makes this such a standout color. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pens. Now, I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Private Reserve's Tanzanite has a viscosity of 2.5, making it not just normal, but average. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done with the extra fine and medium nib on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Private Reserve's Tanzanite has an average dry time of 22 seconds, making it just a little bit longer drying time than normal. Now, let's look at the writing sample.
I picked this ink up in sample form, and look at how thick and dense this ink is. My goodness, its density really shows through, and I'm trying to look at the data. It doesn't look like it's crazy amounts denser, but boy, does it really show in that sample vial. To keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairefontaine. We get no bleeding and no ghosting. The 1.1 is a beautiful, vibrant, rich blue with no feather, spread, halo sheen, and no shading. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. It took 14 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 22 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Tomoe River. No bleeding, and yes, we have a lot of ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It is a beautiful, beautiful, rich blue. The extra fine is the same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 23 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 39 seconds to dry. That's a little long for me, but this is beautiful. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Private Reserve Rhodia paper. Now this is not bleeding. This is me being a problem right here. I put it down on a piece of paper before it was fully dry. So that spot and that spot not bleeding. We get no bleeding, but we actually get a little bit of ghosting here. A little bit of ghosting. Surprising for Rhodia paper. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. It took 12 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine. It has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. It took 20 seconds to dry. Not too bad. The scrubby for both show no color variation, and we got none. And a smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. And this, to me, is that beautiful, boring ink. It is great. It's the same no matter what. Change the color paper, I don't care. Same color ink. Change your nib, I don't care. Same color ink. So while I really do like a well-shading ink, I have a great appreciation for an ink that is exactly the same all the time. It's boring, it's beautiful for being predictable. Monokaki paper is next. Monokaki. We get no bleeding. Looking at that, trying to figure out if that's a bleed through or not. I'm going to say, since it's at the scrubby, I'm not worried about it. We get no bleeding. We do get ghosting. It's a thinner paper. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. 10 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1 with no feather spread, halo, sheen, or shade, and 19 seconds to dry. Now the scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it and we didn't get it. And the smear test, nope, you can't recover that one. Gone. TWSBI notebooks, no bleeding, minor ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 13 seconds to dry. Now, I know before I said that it didn't matter what the nib and what the paper, but TWSBI seems to want to change the rules. As it turns out, the medium on the TWSBI notebook is slightly darker in tone than the extra fine or the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 20 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation, but we do see that there's a difference in tone even in that scrubby. We didn't get any color variation, and the smear test, yeah, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Moji paper, no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 7 seconds to dry. It's the same tone as the 1.1. And here again, so what it feels like is these are Asian papers. And they're not necessarily made to be the highest quality of papers, but they're not garbage. Where these papers are made to be a little bit better in quality. I believe the Monokaki is, but they're made to be a little bit better quality, and they hold the colors exactly the same. But when I get something that's a little lower in grade, not bad paper, still very good paper, but not expensive paper, we do see some color variation. So the medium is slightly darker than the extra fine or the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It still performs great, 12 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it. The smear test, yes, you could recover if you smeared while you were writing, and that is what I have for the writing sample.
Instead of finding inks that look like Private Reserve's Tanzanite, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I wanted a nice bright red, and I chose Noodler's Nikita. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I would ask, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. So what do I think of Private Reserve's Tanzanite? This is probably one of Private Reserve's best. It is a bright, bold, and dark blue that doesn't become obnoxious. It performs very well on the page. It has no troubles cleaning out of the pen. It is well behaved in every way and a joy to look at. Thanks for watching.